Okay, here we go. Happy Resurrection Day. Absolutely. We're working in the Course in Miracles on this section called the Development of Trust. And if you got the book, it's on page 10. There are 3 longer copies up there you can use if you want to. Is there anyone in here with any kind of trust issues about anything? Please raise your hand. Okay, all right. Okay, anybody that doesn't have their hand up, you can leave now. That's right. I'm going to talk about the stages of developing trust according to the Course in Miracles. And one of the most important things to remember about the Course in Miracles, if you want to learn it really quickly, is that the Course in Miracles has its own instructions about how to study the Course in Miracles. It has its own instructions about how to study it. It tells you how to study it, which is just the opposite of what I see most people try to do. All right, it says that you don't have to believe it, and I see people trying to believe it all the time. Then it says you don't have to accept it or welcome it. I see people trying to get themselves to accept it, and I see people trying to get themselves to welcome it. It says some of the things you hear you're going to find hard to believe, and you're also going to find some of it startling. And then sometimes people are shocked when they hear something that it says, and they go, well, that's hard to believe. I said, well, that's what it said. It said it was going to be hard to believe. And then they go, well, that's startling. Well, it promised you it was going to be startling. And then it says you're not asked to judge the ideas at all. And to judge means to analyze. And that's one of the favorite pastimes of Course in Miracles students, is to analyze the Course to try to figure out what it means. So they're not really trying to learn the Course the way the Course says learn it. They're trying to learn the Course the way they learned it to learn in other ways. So that makes it hard. Of course it's not going to be hard if you don't have to believe it, accept it, or welcome it. Of course it's not going to be hard if it's okay for you to be startled to find something hard to believe. Of course it's not going to be hard if you're not trying to figure it out. How could it be hard if you're not trying to figure it out? You don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, don't have to welcome it. Because that presupposes that the truth doesn't work unless you believe it, and that presupposes that the truth doesn't work unless you understand it. Don't you see how wrong that is? So wrong. Yeah, whether or not I believe or accept or understand something doesn't necessarily determine whether or not it's true. Like if you don't believe, accept that I'm Earl Purdy, does that change the fact that I'm Earl Purdy? Of course it doesn't. So that's what I love about the Course in Miracles. It's saying you're working too hard. You're busy trying to accept and analyze, and really what you ought to be doing, I said, what should I be doing, Holy Spirit? He said, well, what you should be doing is using it. I said, oh, that's a novel idea. I'm busy analyzing. I'll get back to you on that. When I get to analyzing it, I'll use it. Right? So keep in mind that if you use it, it says the ideas themselves will prove to you that the ideas are true. That's another really cool statement. Think about that. It says you don't have to believe the ideas will show you that they're true. That if you use it, and so what do? He says, well, regardless of your reaction to the ideas, it says use them. So let me see what that means. Let me make that practical. It simply means that if I don't like what I'm hearing, use it. If I don't understand what I'm hearing, use it. If I get upset about what I'm hearing, use it. If I'm confused, use it. Whatever my reaction is to it, he says use it. And so the only level of use that it keeps saying over and over again in the book is say this, remember that, say this, say this, say this. Over and over it says say this, say this. So I realized that I could certainly say something that I didn't understand, didn't accept, and didn't believe, because that's what I do all the time. Right. That's what most people do all day long, is they're saying stuff that they don't really mean and don't really believe and everything else. So when people say that they can't do what the Course says do, it's just because they're afraid of getting what they want. Right. That's all that is. You're just not ready to have what you want yet. So you're gonna come up with what we call complications. Right? You're gonna come up with all these complex reasons as to why you can't do this or you don't understand this. So instead of coming up with the complex reasons, just tell yourself, I've become afraid of the goal, so now I'm making up obstacles. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're afraid to have a relationship, you can give me 100 reasons why you can't have one and you shouldn't have one. Mm-hmm. If you're afraid, you know what I'm saying? If whatever you're afraid to do, you'll come up with the obstacles that keep you from doing it. So come up with tell me the area of your life that you see the most obstacles, and I'll tell you the area of your life that you're most afraid to get what you want in that area.
Say it again.
I'm talking kind of dirty to you, ain't I? Yeah, this is a 900 course number here. I'll tell you one more time.
Preach it, Brother Earl.
That's right. I'm trying, because I'm teaching what I need to remember. You know, who knows what I just said? I forgot. Everybody else too?
The thing that you have the most obstacles is the thing you're most afraid to have.
Yes.
That's right. The thing that you're seeing the most obstacles, that's where you're the most afraid to have the thing beyond the obstacle. So if you're afraid of money, you got all kinds of money obstacles right now. You know, if you're afraid of love, you got a million reasons. You know, you was dropped on your head when you was a baby. you got a bunch of reasons as to why you're afraid of love. So rather than trying to focus on that, just focus on the fact that I'm afraid and I need to let go of my fear of having what I want in this area. Put your attention on letting go of the fear instead of focusing on the obstacles, because the obstacles will disappear as soon as you totally desire the goal.
Right.
To totally desire is to create. So I'm going to go through the stages, what I've been trying to go through the last 2 months of the development of trust. And it says the first thing you're going to go through when you're trying to develop trust is that you're going to go through a period of undoing. It doesn't have to be painful, but it usually is experienced as painful because it's going to look like things in your life are being taken away. Now, the things in your life are not really being taken away. It's just that you no longer value them the way you used to, because now you're in a position where you see things in a different light. And since you are, then maybe you'll be willing to make the shift internally. Then the Course says, well, if you're not willing to change on the inside, then the plan is going to call for external circumstances that will bring about the change. So if you just won't voluntarily do the things that's going to ultimately bring you more joy, then the plan is you're going to have some outside circumstances that's going to make you change your mind about the way you're treating yourself. You know, everybody with me on that?
Yeah,
If you won't change on the inside, the plan is going to call for some outside stuff to come down. Everybody with me on that? We clear about the plan. There's two sides to the plan. Either I change on the inside or the outside gets me to change. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to voluntarily do what I'm told. For a rebellious child like me, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. You know, it's like, no, okay, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and let myself be happy. I've tried for a lifetime to keep constant happiness away from me. I had some few choice relationships that I used to do it. Yeah, that's right. It's hard for people to love a spiritual man. If I was a dog, I'd have like 100 people that was in love with me. Nice guys truly finish last in the world. Let me tell you. All right. They don't talk to the nice guy about the bad boy they want to get hold to. Okay. Right. This is true. This is absolute truth. Okay. That's not that I haven't gotten over it yet, but when I was in the 10th grade, I don't want y'all to think I'm holding on to nothing, but when I was in the 10th grade, this girl quit me, as we used to call it back in the day. She quit me. And you just said break up in the black neighborhood when I was growing up. You say, she quit you. It's like a job or something. You know what I'm saying? I quit you. She quit you. Yeah, she quit me last night, man. You know, and she quit me because I was too nice. What a reason for somebody to quit you. Because you're too nice. Wow, you know what I'm saying?
Poor Early.
And she was black too. And she quit because I was black.
Really?
I know race stuff freak people out. You mention race. Right? Don't mention race now. Don't mess with the race stuff. I haven't even noticed you black. You know? Oh, you black girl? I never noticed it. Are you blind, my dear? I'm pretty chocolate there. I think it's pretty easy to see. You know. But the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's what they say.
Right. Is it true?
It's true. It's absolutely true. I have witnesses. You know, the Course in Miracles said the reason why, oh my God, you're right, thank you.
Some more witnesses.
Some more witnesses. I mentioned witnesses and then they sat down right in front of me. You all have no idea how we timed this. We worked on this yesterday afternoon, and as soon as I said that they were going to come in and sit down, just like that, they pulled it off so good. I just had to have to renege on the money I told them I was going to pay them. But, So if you get serious about the truth, it's going to be hard for you to hear it. That's the other thing. You don't have to believe, but if you get serious about this, all of a sudden what I'm talking about is serious, and I'm trying to convert somebody and all that stuff, it's going to be hard to hear. So the first thing that you need to realize, we said last week, is what? If I want change on the inside, what's going to happen?
Things will change.
Something's going to happen on the outside to get me to change. Then it says that, now when that happens to you, there's one thing you should say. When that happens to you, that you're dealing with some changes, like right now, you're going through some changes. You're going through some serious changes. In some area of your life right now, are you going through some serious changes? Somebody got an area in their life right now, they're going through a serious change. Then together, let's say this. These changes are always helpful. One more time. These changes are always helpful.
Oh, yeah.
These changes are always. Did it say sometime?
No.
Did it say on Tuesday?
No.
Did it say Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock? No, it said always, always. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how painful or joyful that it appears that it is right now, it's really helpful. Yeah, at least see it that way if you're suffering. It's at least see it as helpful. If you're already suffering, get some good out of it. You know, don't suffer and then say it's not helpful. You know, so if you're choosing suffering, say it's helpful. Why is it helpful? Because it's going to help bring about an internal shift of some type. It's going to get me to make some decision that I've been putting off that I need to make for my happiness. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like a lot of times in relationships, I'm always the guy that helps a woman define what she really wants. I always tell women that, you know, the man of your dreams, they say, yeah. I said, well, he coming right after me. But they think they really like me, you know what I'm like? I'm telling you when he's showing up. He's going to come right by because I will be the defining moment. I will be the one that will make you say, well, I really want this kind of man right here that does this right here, that's doing this right here, that's doing that right there. You know, so I'm really good omens for y'all, just sitting up here in the room, y'all. What y'all want is on the way, because y'all looking at me. I want you to know.
Right.
That's true, that's true. So I'm glad I'm really helpful to all the women that come into my life. I really am. That's true. Some of y'all might even know a few. Okay, all right, now. So you don't go to the next stage until you learn the first stage, and he says, well, the first stage is saying that all the things I'm going through are helpful, and then once I can say it without believing it, accepting it, welcoming it, or analyzing it. Can you say these changes are always helpful without believing it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you're required to do. Easy path. Oh, I can just say this without believing it? Yeah, you don't have to believe your changes are helpful. Yeah, you don't have to believe your changes, but you can just say it, can't you? Yeah, I see it. These changes are helpful. These changes are helpful. And there's no way you can do that without feeling better. There's no way you can say it's helpful and not feel just a little bit better, whether you even think it's true or not. Isn't that right? Yeah. I know, it's helpful. It's helpful. So then when you get to the point that you're calling that thing that you were upset about, that you were thinking about before you got here, the minute you call that thing helpful, then you go to the next stage. Okay? The next stage, that the teacher of God, I like that, teacher of God. Course in Miracles says a teacher is a demonstrator and God is love. So the English modern language translation of that would be the demonstrator of love must go through a period of sorting out. So you're a demonstrator of love. And love is freedom. So you should be a demonstrator of freedom. You're here to be a demonstrator of freedom. And the freedom is of the mind and not of the body. You're not free until your mind is free. And if your mind is free, your butt will follow. Because that's what it's done. That's why you're sitting there in the chair. Your butt followed your mind. You're actually being stalked by your own butt. And then some people are stalking your butt. But that's a whole other story. That's the advanced class. We'll talk about that at another time. It's very important to talk about this. So then you're going to go through a period of sorting. Now then the Course says, you know what, this is always somewhat difficult because having learned that the changes in your life are always helpful, okay, I've learned the changes in my life are always helpful. He says, then you must now decide all things on the basis of whether they increase the helpfulness or hamper the helpfulness. In other words, is what I'm doing, is it increasing helpfulness or is it hampering helpfulness? Is this really moving me forward toward my goal or is this really delaying me? And then the Course says, and I'm going to say it this way, you will find that many, if not most of the things you valued before will merely hinder your ability to transfer what you've learned to new situations as they arise. In other words, we don't think the truth works in every situation. We think the truth works in only some situations. So we want to apply the same truth to every situation. Like I said, I create my reality when it comes to the relationship I have with, with the people in my life. I said, I create the experience that I have with Bonnie, but then I'll say, well, I don't have nothing to do with what I'm going to do with my mama. She just that way. That had nothing to do with me creating it. That's just the way my mama is. So I won't apply the truth equally to all situations. I pick and choose the situations that I want to apply the truth to. And then the Course goes on to say, because we valued what is really valueless, we will not generalize the lesson for fear of loss and sacrifice. It's like I want to apply the same situation to everybody, because sometimes I think I'll lose if I treat everybody the same way. I think if I apply the truth to everybody, I'm going to lose. Nothing upsets people more in this world, especially in a relationship, than to think you love somebody else as well as them. So the truth should be applying to everybody, but we pick and choose and say, no, if you love me, you can't love her. You love him, you can't love him. So we don't generalize the truth in that way, because we feel like we might lose. If I say it's okay for you to be with anybody, I might lose you. So I'm not going to generalize the truth. Because if I generalize the truth, you might be generalizing in a way I don't want you to generalize. And I want to be in charge of your generalizing. And I'm a true general. You know what I'm saying? There's some places we want to apply the truth, but we don't want to apply it everywhere, because it looks like we'll lose if we apply it everywhere. I free everybody but my partner. See, I apply the truth everywhere but to that person there, because if I apply it there, I might lose. So it says we won't generalize the lesson for fear of loss and sacrifice. It takes great learning. What kind of learning? Great learning. What kind of learning? Great learning. To understand that all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful. 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 Did it say all things are helpful?
Yeah.
Did it say all events are helpful?
Yeah.
Did it say all encounters are helpful?
Yes.
Did it say all circumstances are helpful?
Yes.
Did that include your issue? I just want to know if your issue was included in that list I just made. Okay. I want to be sure, because you might want to say, but not me. Right? So that would be what the Course says, not generalizing the situation to every situation, and then picking some situations you're not going to apply the truth to. And so that's why you don't, he said that's why the old way of looking at things, that's a hampering situation if you won't do it that way. So it says it's only to the extent that these circumstances and events are helpful that any degree of reality should be accorded them in this world of illusion. The word value can apply to nothing else, which is simply saying to us that you're no more real than you're helpful to me, and I'm no more real than I'm helpful to you. It's only as real as it's helpful. It's no realer than it's helpful. If I'm in a relationship that's not helpful, then it's not real. And helpful would be a relationship that's helping me remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence in myself and everybody around me. A helpful relationship is a relationship that's helping me to let go of any anger, guilt, grievances, and anything that would make me think I was less than loved. That's a helpful relationship. Now, somebody calling me a low-down dog that I don't trust, that you're a jerk, now that's not helpful. So you know who's helpful by what they're saying to you, and you know who's helpful by the meaning you're giving to what they're saying to you. Because it really doesn't matter what anybody says to you, since you're the one that determines its meaning. You can make everything everybody said meaningless, and nobody could affect you at all. You know, if you just want to have peace, but we will not do it. Okay, let's promise. Okay, that's right. You know, if you want to be unhappy, we got to all join together on a pledge to help each other do it all wrong. Okay, those of us who still want to be guilty and miserable, let's make sure we never tell each other the truth at all. We keep each other thinking we're victims, and we keep each other thinking we don't have any power, and we keep each other thinking that we're just separate bodies out here on our own. Let's do it, gang. Let's keep it up now. If you want to keep your depression, we got to all stick together, treat each other like dogs. No, treat each other as good as we treat dogs in Denver. Exactly. And then we will be enlightened tomorrow. There's no doubt in my mind. I envy every dog I pass by in City Park. You know what I'm saying? You know, dog have a mink stole on. I'm like, and then they be walking their master. Yeah. So this Denver dog situation is intense. You can just see it in their eyes. You know, a baby pass by, and you see a dog. Get that baby out the way. That's a chihuahua there. Get that dog out the way. You know, we love our animals in Denver, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
I know, Bella. Okay. All right. So the word value can apply to nothing else. It's so good to have one of my oldest, dearest friends on earth, Anna Kajawa, sitting back there. I'm telling you, that's a story right there. Me and Anna got to be friends to the day we die. We know too much. That's right. don't have no choice. We have no options for grievances.
No choice.
That's right. That was really cool. Yeah, this is a very powerful being. I met her when she was 17 years old, and my first out-of-town workshop that I was going to do in Atlanta, Georgia, Anna promoted that workshop. And she had over 100 and some people there who paid over $100 and some to come to the seminar. She was like less than 18 years old.
High school.
Yeah, she was in high school. You know, I was like, my God, that was really cool. That was a great lesson for me.
No, me too.
That was, you know, it was my first time moving out there. And so it showed me all things are possible.
Yes.
If you're blonde and 18. Oh, yes, and God. Only God. Thank you for that spiritual lesson. Good job. Absolutely. Yeah. So what would be a valuable anything if it's what? If it's helpful. It's valuable if it's helpful. So look through the situation that you're going through right now that you think you might have some upset about and ask yourself, how real is it? By asking yourself, how helpful is it? This situation that I'm going through right now, how helpful is it to me? What is it helping me realize? What is it helping me acknowledge? What is it helping me to achieve? What is this for? That's what you do. Because it will not be there if you don't see any purpose in it. So that's why it's good for you to go, well, it's not any purpose for me to continue to be suffering in every relationship that I go through. Well, okay, then if there's no purpose in it, then all of a sudden it's going to start to drop away. Because there's no purpose. It's only sticking around because there's some kind of payoff in that situation, especially the one that you haven't been able to get rid of. That's your biggest payoff situation.
Yeah.
Okay, the one that you've had since you were 3 years old. That issue. That's what I call your anchor issue. It's the issue that you use to keep yourself in the old situation that you've always been in. It's the thing that you can count on to make you think you can't be happy in some way. So the part that doesn't want to be happy always has its favorite areas to keep you miserable in. You know, if you're really feeling happy, you know exactly who to call to feel miserable.
Yeah.
You know, if you want support, you know who to call. If you want somebody that's going to judge you, you know who to call. So you kind of know what you're trying to convince yourself of by who you pick up the phone and call. You already know. You already know.
Yeah.
You know, if you got a relative that believes anything that's New Thought is going to send you straight to hell, and then you're afraid because you studied New Thought, then you're going to call them to get their opinion about it. Because it's a part of you that wants to be afraid to do it anyway. So you just need justification to stop.
Yeah.
If you want to keep moving in this direction, then you would call the person who you know is pretty open-minded and respects your rights to make your own choices. So you can tell what you want by the reaction of others to you and your reaction to them both. You know, which is deep to think you got that much power, but you do.
Yeah.
So you're going to sort things out. How do you sort things out? You sort things out by asking yourself, is this helpful? Is it not? Then people say, well, how can I tell? Well, you can tell by having a goal, because without a goal, you can't tell or evaluate anything, right? I have the goal to come to the church, and I'm headed down to the mall. That's my way of knowing that that's not the right choice if my goal was to come to the church. But if I didn't have a goal, I would just go anywhere.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? You know, so first you have to ask yourself, what do you want in that situation? And then ask yourself, is it helpful? And then you're doing stage 2. First you say these changes are helpful, and then after you go, these changes are helpful, the next thing you do is say to yourself, now, how much is this moving me in the direction I want to go in, and how much is it moving me away from the direction? Because it's only as real as it's helpful to me. So I know that I don't want to increase my guilt, that guilt is the cause of all pain according to the Course. So if I'm hanging around somebody who's always trying to make me feel guilty, now that's the same as saying I'm always hanging around somebody that's always angry at me, because it's the exact same thing. Then that is someone who is supporting me feeling guilty and further punishing myself. In terms of my goal, which is to know my innocence, then is that relationship helpful? What? No, in terms of my goal, no. But if I think I'm guilty and I deserve to suffer and to be punished, does having a job that doesn't work, money situation that doesn't work, relationships that doesn't work, health that doesn't work, is that helping me achieve my goal? Yes, it is. So if your life is full of drama and pain, you are very, very successful at giving yourself the pain you think you need to be okay. Because we were taught that when you do something wrong and you get punished, then everything's okay again. So if you think you've done something wrong and you're using your life to punish you right now so that you can be okay again, that's why so much negative stuff is happening to you, is because it's you whipping your own butt. And you're doing it psychically and metaphysically. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I deserve to be happy, so I'm going to unconsciously create people who don't treat me right, situations don't treat me right, job doesn't treat me right, and a body that doesn't treat me right. It's coming from my own unconscious lack of love for myself. Any questions? Any comments? Any questions?
A lot.
Did that explain a lot?
Yeah, I get confused.
I know. Yeah, then what do you get confused about?
I really get confused because I think that that it's helpful to see my lies, and that when I see them, then it's helpful for me to find the truth. And so
so that would be valuable to you.
It is.
Right. Well then, okay. Well then, you know that if you see it as valuable to you, then that's real for you, and that's okay for you to do it. See, it's not. It's what the Course is saying to me is, ask yourself, is this helpful or is it hindering me in terms of my goal? That's why I didn't tell you what the goal should be other than love ultimately. But you're the one who decides that, not me. You're the one who decides whether that's helpful to you. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's helpful for me to see my lies, but I don't believe that it's helpful for me to want to be lied to or to continue lies in my life. But I think it's very helpful for me to see the lie so I can let the lie go. But my goal is the truth. And sometimes to see the truth, you have to know what's not true. You have to see what's not true. As a matter of fact, that's how you know what love is. Of course, says the way you know what love is that you learn what love isn't. You don't try, because love is beyond what can be explained. So it says if you really want to know what love is, nobody can give you an explanation of love, but they can tell you what it's not. It's not fear, it's not guilt, it's not anger, it's not separation, it's not attack, it's not hatred. In other words, it's not none of the things we do. Just if you just want to go to the speedy course of it's none of the things we do. And then we say, well, why is the world like the way it is today with the absence of love? It's almost like I wanted to have the experience of seeing what it would be like if I did something other than being loving. You know, it's like if I wanted to see what it would be like to be doing something other than being free. And so this is what happens when it's other than being free. You can have perceptions that you think you're limited, but that's just coming from your refusal to see yourself as God sees you, which is free and loved. You know, and by all means, don't put anything you hear me say above the feelings of your own being and your own inner voice. That's what frees me up to just talk to y'all, is that I don't have a big attachment to whether or not you believe it or not. So that's what makes it easy for us to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm trying to convince myself. That's why I'm doing this. Yeah.
So, okay, this might sound really simple, but
that'd be good.
I'm still trying to believe all things are helpful. Now
Right.
you're telling me to decide which things are helpful. So
Right.
I don't see that as
Okay.
working.
Now, okay, so if you're seeing a paradox or a contradiction, that's what you just basically said. Okay, that means you become afraid of the goal. Because remember what I said earlier about when you see the obstacles come up,
Right.
it means that it's the goal that's become afraid. So I would invite you to increase your desire to fearlessly accept the love that's being offered. And then how those two things seem to contradict themselves will drop away. You see what I'm saying? It's like that's what I'm doing with the Course now. It's like what I used to go to. Okay, let me figure out this paradox, this contradiction. The Course covers that in the Course. It says you're going to come up with what you see as paradoxes and contradictions. I said, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. All right, so this might have relevance. Okay, then it says, well, the reason why you see the paradox and the contradiction is because you become afraid of joining, you become afraid of love, you become afraid of what you say you want. So you asked me this question about paradox and contradictions, Earl. Because you want me to solve that aspect of it, but what you really want to do is get past the paradoxes and contradictions to the thing that you want, which is the love, right? Say, yeah, that's right. Okay, this is how you do it. Work on letting go of your fear of love. The contradictions and the paradoxes will drop away. A totally opposite answer than the one I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear.
But it works.
Yeah, right. See what I'm saying? Because I wanted you to figure out how I can tell the difference between the two. And the Course says the real answer is to be sure about what you want without being afraid of it, and then the obstacles will begin to drop away. Then if you kind of person go, well, I think I need obstacles in order to become strong. Without obstacles, I just won't be a strong person. Well, if you got a bunch of obstacles, then you should be like in ecstasy right now. You should be dancing around the room more than anybody in here. If you're defending obstacles, then you should be happy about the obstacles that you have. And we'd be glad to throw some more in your way. Pretty good at that. We could give you 1 or 2 more obstacles, to deal with. You know what I mean? It's like the answer is so simple that if I let myself hear it, I wouldn't have any excuse for not doing it, because no real answer is anything that you can't do today. A false answer is always something that takes time to accomplish. A true answer is always something you can do right now, and it's simple and you're capable of. Because no intelligent God would give you a solution to a problem that you couldn't do. Because that delays the amount of time before they get done. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather ask somebody who want to do something for me than ask somebody who don't. At the same time, I'm asking the person who wants to do it. So I think God is at least as smart as me. So why would the Creator set it up where everything that needed to be done, people had to go through a lot of obstacles in order to get to it? That sounds like a system set up by somebody that's trying to punish themselves and then blame it on God. It takes great learning to understand all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful. It takes great learning to understand that all things, that all events, that all encounters and circumstances are helpful. These changes are always helpful. These changes are always helpful. These changes are always helpful. What? These changes are always helpful. These changes are always helpful. Woo! Say it, y'all. These changes are always helpful. These changes are always helpful. Ow! Ow! These changes are always helpful. These changes are always helpful. Woo! Okay to get it in your body. The body is the storehouse of your memories. All your memories are stored in your body. That's why even though your cells are changed every 7 years, you still have that scar that you got when you were 10 years old. It's passing that message on to the next cell. Your body is storing all your memories. So are you storing good memories? Or are you constantly storing fearful memories? You know what I'm saying? And it's the things that you emotionally react to that implant your body memories more. So people are very emotional about their anger and their depression and their insecurities and their fear. But you say, express a little joy, and it's like, no. So I'm not going to do a joy imprint. But I'd be ready to do an anger imprint. See what I'm saying? Then they wonder why they're all, when they think of one negative, what they think of as a negative thing, then a whole train of other memories come with that. It's because it's stored in your body.
Hey Earl,
Yeah.
I just heard a study where they were doing heart transplants and people had memories from the other person's heart, and they're starting, I think they're gonna, like, criminals that are electrocuted or whatever, like, I think they're banning those body pieces to be put in.
That's right, they're banning the murderer's heart.
Yeah.
That's right. I got a couple of old girlfriends' hearts need to be banned. Because I personally was the perfect partner. There was nothing but perfection in my love. I don't know what the problem is. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. All right, stage 3. You sound like we're going through some kind of terminal illness. I have stage 3 development of trust. Oh my God, you're going to be all right, brother. You're going to be all right. So would you mind passing this around? That's the contact list, so I can let you know. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna be doing soon. I'm gonna be able to let you know about it. And I always do video of my classes and put them on my website and on YouTube, so that later on you can get a chance to watch it again. So I love this. It's so logical. Okay, so then you ask, is it helpful? And then if it's helpful, you say that's real, right? So that's stage 2. You just anything that you're going to call valuable is going to be something you're going to see as being helpful as you define helpful. All right. Then it says the next stage, the third stage, through which the demonstrator of God or the teacher of God or the demonstrator of love must go, can be called a period of relinquishment. Now, if this period of relinquishment is interpreted as giving up the desirable, somebody's asking you to give up something you really want, then it will engender enormous conflict. It's natural for you to feel conflict when you think somebody's asking you to give up something you're not ready to give up yet. Doesn't it? So the period of relinquishment, in most cases, people misperceive that as thinking that spirit is asking them to give up something that they really want. Like, for instance, if you're going to be spiritual, you got to give up the flat screen. If you're going to be spiritual, you cannot have a flat screen TV. And you certainly can't have like a $2 million house. Right. Everybody knows that spiritual people, live in tents. You know what I'm saying? It's like the poorer you are, the more spiritual you are. If that was true, there ought to be a lot of levitators in this room right now. So it really don't have nothing to do with that, really. The truth is that if you're never being asked to give up the desirable. You're never being asked to give up the desirable, because if I ask you to give up something that you desire, then you're going to go through a lot of conflict. But he says, few of us escape this distress entirely. He says, there is, however, no point in sorting out the valuable from the valueless. There is no point in sorting out the valuable from the valueless unless the next obvious step is taken. If I'm sorting out what's valuable from what's not valuable, then I need to take the next obvious step, which is to let go of the stuff that's no longer valuable. Or what was the point in sorting it out? Right. Why am I doing all this sorting out? I think this is valuable, this isn't, I need this relationship is, whatever however you define. And he says, well, then the next step you do is you let go of the stuff you know is not serving you. You let go of the stuff that you know is not serving you. For instance, like in my perception, someone attacking me all the time, I could keep them around and go, well, I'm learning a spiritual lesson because they're attacking me all the time. Or I could just choose out of the relationship and just stop attacking myself. And that'll be the end of attack, because it's just a reflection of what I'm doing to myself anyway. So I don't have to stick around and let you keep attacking me for me to make the decision that I'm going to stop attacking myself. Right. Unless I want to suffer. Then if you want to suffer, then the person attacking you is helpful, because they're giving you what you want. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I know some of the truth is like this. Come at you, don't it? You can tell when you're giving birth to the truth. You can tell. That's exactly how I reacted to it, and still do. Still like smacks me sometimes. Like that. It's like what I just got through saying. He says there's no point in sorting out what's good from what's not so good to you in your perception unless you do the next obvious step, which is obviously you should do what? You should relinquish it. He says, therefore, the period of overlap. Now, this is important. What did I call that? The period of overlap. Keep that in mind. The period of overlap is apt, it kind of rhymes. The period of overlap is apt to be a period in which you feel called upon to sacrifice your own best interests in behalf of the truth. You're going to be thinking, well, this is asking me to sacrifice my own best interests if I do this. I'm kind of scared to do this because, if I just stop attacking people, they're just going to run over me, and they're just going to take advantage of me, and they're just going to treat me like I'm just a doorstep. So if I do what the truth is saying, it's not to my own best interest. If I give a whole lot, people are just going to take advantage of me, and I won't have nothing in the end. So it's like when you're in the period of overlap, sometimes it'll look like what Spirit is asking you to do is not something that's for your own best interest, like forgiveness. Especially if you got a grievance. It's like some people think if they forgive somebody, that's letting them off the hook. So if the truth says forgive, then there's a part of me that says, well, that's not for my own best interest to forgive. I should never forgive that person for what they did to me. See, those are just a few examples of what I'm talking about. So sometimes it's going to look like the truth is asking you to do something that you think does not serve your own best interest. So it's telling us that. Yeah. He says, but I'm going to tell you what really happens. He says, first of all, he says, we haven't realized that that's a totally impossible demand. There is no way that you could possibly do something that's for your own best interest and lose. It's impossible to do that. It's impossible to be doing something that's for your own best interest and lose. That would be contrary to the whole definition of for your own best interest. All right, so there's no such thing as doing what's for your own best interest and losing. Okay, are we clear about this?
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost like saying, telling somebody, well, you want to meet somebody you love, and love could draw the perfect person to you, and they say, well, suppose I don't like the way they look. And I'm like going, well, if all you're experiencing is love, I guarantee you they look beautiful to you. There's no such thing as an ugly person to somebody that's looking with love. That's how I know I haven't learned how to look with love yet, because I still see ugly people. The truth students don't say stuff like that. Ugly? I've never seen an ugly person. What do you mean? Everybody's light. They're all joy. They're all beautiful. What do you mean? What do you mean? All right, there's this hunchback out of Notre Dame wants to go out with you, so we're going to send him your tape card. If you don't pay attention to the body no more, right? Yeah, it's like, a bunch of crap you don't want to hear somebody say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to be honest with yourself. You know you still have preferences. Admit you still have preferences. Don't say you don't. Because then you attract everything to you to show. You always attract the things to you to show you when you're lying to yourself. So as soon as you say you can accept everybody no matter what, then you have somebody that show up that you really have a nice challenge to see if you can accept. But I go ahead and say, I don't like everybody. I don't even want to. Now nobody has to show up. Because I already admit to some people that I don't like. And that doesn't sound spiritual, it doesn't. But you know what's going to happen? When you get through your spiritual path, you're going to come full circle where you're going to be talking just the way you're already talking, but you just won't be feeling guilty about it. And boom, you'll be enlightened. Because it's the guilt that's the problem, not the form of the words you're using. That's the problem. So this is what's going to happen when you actually do give up something that's not valuable, or when you actually do give up something that you know is not serving you. What's going to happen is, he says, where you anticipated grief, you're going to find a happy lightheartedness instead. You thought you were going to feel some grief about letting this thing go, but actually you're going to feel better. I know some of you have had that experience. Like when you do the cleaning out and getting rid of stuff, and you think, it's going to be so hard for you to get rid of that stuff, but then when you finally do it, you feel really lighthearted, or a relationship that you were trying to hang on to, and the relationship ended in some way, and then you went, boy, I actually feel better now that that's over. I didn't expect that to happen. That's an unexpected benefit that I didn't expect to happen. Why? Because you gave us something that was valueless. Well, what was valueless about it? You weren't allowing yourself to experience love in it. And they said, well, it wasn't the other person's fault. That don't make any difference. If you're not saying it correctly, then it doesn't matter what they do anyway. So you just well go ahead if you try to talk it out, make some kind of change, because every relationship isn't meant to last for a lifetime anyway. Most relationships don't, haven't you noticed? So why don't you just make that normal? But it's like the normal thing would be the thing that happens the most to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but since most relationships don't last a lifetime, I've come to the conclusion that must be normal. And most relationships don't last a lifetime, and I see everybody trying to make that the normal relationship, and I'm saying, well, don't you see it's not normal? Are you going to be the one out of all the people before you that never was able to accomplish it, but you're going to be the one that makes it normal? You're going to save the world? Nobody before you has been able to do it, but you're going to change it. It's like, wow, that's deep. There is a part of me thinks stuff like that I'm going to do what nobody else before me has ever done. And the truth said, what? Think sanely? It's like, yeah, that would be something nice to do that nobody's done before me. Actually think sanely. My outer world is a reflection of my own mind? Yes, it is. So you mean when I accept sanity for myself, I start to meet sane people? That's exactly the way it works. Oh, so you mean anything I want to experience out there, I just have to create it in my own self first? Yes. Is it easy for you to change you or somebody else, Purdy? Well, actually, it's easier to change me to somebody else. Oh, now you found the fast track to your joy. So whatever kind of person you want, you just be it. And so I tried it. I started to be what I wanted, then I started attracting what I wanted, because they were being it, because I was being it, and we was being it together, and we was a BB. And I would say to them, come here, BB. You just my little BB. You know what I'm saying? It's about being what you want to have. I used to always want people that had qualities that were opposite to the ones I thought I had, so they would compliment me, and we would make some kind of freaky balance. And that was wrong. Because then we didn't ever do anything together because we was opposites. But I'm quiet, so I want, I don't like to dance, so I want somebody that's a real good dancer. So it's because I have a balance. Yeah, but they'll be dancing somewhere else and you being home. It would be better to say I'd like to be with the person that don't like to dance. We gonna hang out. Or we both like to dance and let's go dance. Or you have to be so strong in yourself that you can't honestly allow a person to do what they want to do even if it's without you. And love them anyway. Treat them right anyway. Actually, you'll be glad then that you have some things you do differently, because that means y'all have some space sometime for each other. And in that space, you get a chance to miss each other. or be really clear that you're glad they're gone. You don't want them to ever come back again. Either way it goes, you will become informed, right? I love how this thing is simple to me. This is like, but the Course is always talking about perception. No matter what you hear me talking about, even though I use external examples, the Course is only talking about changing your perception, the way you think, the thing that's going on in your mind. It's all inside your mind. Everything we're talking about is inside your mind. Your partners, your money, everything is inside your mind. Whoa! That's either really thrilling you or you're totally depressed behind that. Depending on what your situation is, you didn't want to hear because your mind. That's why most people don't want to believe that thoughts are created, because they would be terrified to think their thoughts would actually manifest, because they know how crappy they are. So negative people don't like the idea that your thoughts create your reality, and you can't blame them. They know their thoughts suck. And so they don't want to see that thought meet them. So they want to think that their thoughts doesn't have any effect because they're not thinking in the loving thoughts. So it makes perfect sense to me why people who are miserable sometimes don't want to hear the truth. Because it would mean that their own consciousness was creating their reality. There was nobody else to blame for it. So they would have to change their own mind. So it would be much easier for me to just say it's your fault. That's just easier. It looks like it's your fault. I made it up that it's your fault. So it just seems like it's your fault. Right. So that's why the world always agrees with whenever you say, somebody else did it to me. Yeah, that's right, honey child. That's right. Yeah, don't forget it, honey. You black. No, that's really bad. In America. You know what that means, don't you? So that's one of the reasons why I got into metaphysics and higher consciousness and truth, because I got tired of the black stuff I've been hearing ever since I was a little black child. You're black, so this ain't gonna work for you. The man is oppressing you. You'll never be able to have it all. Blah 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 blah. And then try to get a job, and I hope the man like me, and I hope I know the cousin or the brother or the foreman, so I can maybe get in because I know them, and it was who I knew and how I knew them. It's like the metaphysics said, you could change your mind and change your beliefs, and your reality will become exactly what it is, would be joyful and happy for you, and your perception. Now, I'm going to go with this system. I think this system is better than trying to be a black man trying to make it in America. And what I found was universal laws work regardless of race, creed, color, social, economic conditions, and even if you don't have a dog in Denver. And I don't. I have a moth.
Here we go.
He's low upkeep, I tell you. Just put on a light bulb, he good to go. I like low maintenance pets. When I go out of town, all I gotta do is leave a little light on. I ain't gotta leave out no dog food. I ain't gotta try to call my neighbors to see if their dog's sick, it's like, but it's worth it for your dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
My dog.
That's right. I know. I don't tell him. Oh my God. Okay. So you're gonna find if you let go of what you see as valueless, it will make you feel more light-hearted. And that's how you can tell you've let go of something, whether it's a thought, a feeling, an emotion, or a physical thing. If you let it go because you recognize that it wasn't helping you achieve your goal, you should feel happier. You should feel lighter. So it's not about denying or pretending that you don't feel what you feel. It's just about asking it, what is this for? Is it serving my purpose? That's all you got to do. And then you will know the answer. That's what's so funny about it. And what's one of the easiest ways to know the answer? One suggestion from the Course is you can tell by the way you feel. Not what you're thinking, not what you're intellectual, because you talk yourself into anything. You know how you've done it a million times. It was something you thought you really wanted or somebody you thought you really wanted. You say, oh, I think the Holy Spirit told me I need to give him my phone number. I know he just dropped 20 pills in my drink, but I just think it's just a relaxer. Because I like him. He's cute. His eyes. It's his eyes. I remember, haven't you ever picked out a person according to a body part?
Always.
Of course. Have you ever picked out a person according to something you liked about their body, whether it was their eyes, their ears, their smells, their toes, right. But see, that didn't tell us nothing about their mind.
Nope.
But you don't worry about that. You just bring them to a class. We'll work on the mind later. Earl got that class. I sent him over there. But I got to hit this one time. That's ridiculous. Some people are never going to come back to my class. Most people don't anyway, so I just go for it. Anybody that's coming in for a while, nobody sticks around too long. That's okay.
Normal.
That's normal for a Course in Miracles class. All right, so how can you tell when you are letting go of something that's truly valueless and you want to let it go? How can you tell? By the way you feel. So you can always give yourself your little human lie detector test. You know, the Course says the body is a means of communication. So one of the things I could suggest to you is that when there's something up for you, pose the question to yourself, and then ask, and then pay attention to your feelings, and see if you feel lighter behind that or you feel heavier behind that. I'm in a situation right now. I'm in a relationship right now. I need to know whether or not I need to really release that right now in my life. The idea of releasing this person or this situation, did it make me feel lighter or did it make me feel heavier? Then you can tell what the truth is for you. Not necessarily the ultimate truth, but you'll know what you're going to do in that situation to yourself. So if it makes you feel heavier, then you let yourself know that you think you're making a mistake and you're probably going to punish yourself in some ways. You're not ready to let that go yet. You know, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to stay. It's okay to go. It's okay to stay. You know, it's okay to go. You know, if you want to stay in the situation and work through it, then you should do that because you want to do it. Because if you want to do it, that's going to knock away 90% of the obstacles that the person is joining with you in the same goal. Now, you can try to change everything by yourself without the cooperation of the other person, but that just seems like a kind of a crazy plan. That's going to be a whole lot of hard work. But I see people do that on the true path all the time. When I just study it, I'm studying it for both of us. That's true, you are studying it for both of us, but let me tell you how that's going to work out in the real world. In the real world, they're going to be very glad that you are so high on your level of consciousness that you forgive everything that they do, and you try to be understanding, and you try to be compassionate, because you studied the Course in Miracles. They aren't studying anything. So when you need it, they don't show up for you because they're not studying any of it. So if you want to do it that way, fine. It just means that when you need it, though, that person has not educated themselves enough to give it to you like you've educated yourself enough to give it to them. So if you want to always be the one that's playing big, then continue to try to do things on your own without the cooperation of the person that you see as your partner in any area of your life. And then that could be a great sacrifice thing. You know, we do like to sacrifice because we've been taught that sacrifice is love. So that's just showing you how much you must really love them because you're putting up with everything and you're handling everything by yourself. You get a chance to be a martyr and everything is cool. Just be honest with yourself about that. So it's almost time. It's time for me to stop because I want to stop on time. And it's one little thing I want to finish up on. So could you acknowledge yourself for letting yourself hear what you don't have to believe? Did you do a good job of not believing some of it? And, are you going to do a good job of not accepting it and forgetting it? All right, you all are the best Course students that's ever been.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're going to do the love off now. Thank you for sharing with me. I'm a full-time teacher of the Course, and I appreciate your generosity and that you see value in what I do. Yeah. I almost got it in there. So just close your eyes just for a second. The first stage is a period of undoing. And to get through the period of undoing, just say to that situation you're going through right now, these changes are helpful, are always helpful. Let's say that one time together. These changes are always helpful. The next stage is you're going to sort things out. You got that situation going on, you got to sort it out. And when you sort it out, all you're saying to yourself is two things. I'm going to start applying the truth to every area of my life. I'm going to apply, what does that mean? It means I'm going to say that I am the one that's responsible for what I see. Love or fear in every area of my life. I'm the one that's determining how I experience every area of my life. I'm going to apply that to every area of my life. I'm going to apply the truth to every area of my life. And I'm going to say all these circumstances are helpful. And if it's helpful, it's valuable. If it's not helpful, it's not valuable. And if you don't know how to tell the difference, all you have to do is answer this question. What do I want? And once you're clear about what you want, it's easier for you to determine whether or not it's helpful or whether it's hindering you. And then after you decide what's valuable and what's valueless by the way that you feel, and by asking yourself, is this really helping me? Is this really helping me achieve my goal? Then the next thing you do is you go through the period of relinquishment. You actually let it go, let it go, let it go. It can be a thought. I need to let go of these thoughts I've been having about myself for so long. I need to let go of these feelings I've been having about myself for so long. I need to let go of this truth that I've been telling myself for so long. There's a relationship I've been dealing with for so long that's not helpful to me. There's a financial attitude that I have that's not helpful to me. There's a sense of separation from God that I have, a separation from love, a separation from my source that I have, and it's not helpful to me. Because the most important thing that you can possibly heal is your sense of separation from your own creator, the sense of separation from your source. All fear is coming from the sense of separation from love, the sense of separation from God. That's where all problems really originate. So I go, these changes are always helpful. Let's say it, y'all. These changes are always helpful. For a minute. These changes are always helpful. These changes are always helpful. Tell somebody, these changes are always helpful. 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 Then you go and say, you're juicy and cute. You're juicy and cute. You're juicy and cute. Oh, you're juicy and cute. Yeah, you're juicy and cute. You're juicy and cute. You're juicy and cute. You're juicy and cute. Would you give it up, Holy Spirit? I love you so much. You are innocent. Yes. Hugs are double, and may the course be with you. I'm juicy and cute. The right perception. Thank you for your correct perception.